Where we start to recognize and thank the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia, Families for Safer Streets, Liberty Resources, and Fifth Square for attending today and for their many years of advocacy for fighting for change. I also want to mention and thank Hayden AI for being our partner and our helping us put this program, technology partners, and put this program into place. And I also want to announce and thank Councilman Mark Squilla, who couldn't be here today. Councilman Squilla was the sponsor of the legislation authorizing this and got this passed through City Council, and I want to thank him for all his hard work for shepherding that through. We are here today to announce the launch of and I want to emphasize our automated bus camera enforcement initiative. There is no better example of intergovernmental cooperation and collaboration than our three agencies working together. With the unanimous support of City Council on this Vision Zero initiative to utilize the latest camera vision technology to reduce congestion and increase traffic flow on some of our most congested city arteries. On any given day, center city streets are severely congested, often due to delivery vehicles, motorists blocking bus lanes, double parking, or parking in restricted areas and bus stops. We believe automated bus camera enforcement initiative is another significant step on top of our recently announced smart loading zone initiative towards addressing these congestion-related issues by focusing on and changing motorist behavior and parking patterns. Forward-facing vision technology equipped camera systems have been mounted on a number of SEPTA buses and trolleys. They are up and ready to begin enforcing parking violations that obstruct public transit and help improve safety, accessibility, and bus and trolley service reliability for SEPTA riders. I want to take a minute to show a quick video that demonstrates how this technology works. And as that's playing, I want to, by starting on April 16th, vehicles parked or stopped illegally in designated no stopping lanes, bus stops, or double parking in Center City on Market, Chestnut, and Walnut between Schuylkill River and 63rd Street will receive warning notices via mail. Citations with fines will start issuing on May 7th. Eventually, 153 buses and 30 trolleys will be equipped with these cameras. They will initially focus on bus routes 17, 21, and 42, enforcement of parking violations on trolley routes, and trolley stop zones will begin later this year. Before I introduce our next two speakers, I especially want to thank the mayor for her leadership on quality of life and public safety issues and all of her Vision Zero initiatives. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to the PPA staff in the back of the room because they're going to be doing all the hard work. And I always got to shout out because without the staff here, I would not be able to do, and the authority would not be able to do all this. So again, thank you all, and I'd like to now introduce GM of SEPTA, Scott Sauer.
Can you turn the video off, please? Or at least pause it? Because the audio is bleeding through. Thanks.
All right, Scott Sauer.
Yep, thanks, Rich. Scott. No, thank you, Rich. I appreciate it. I want to thank Rich Laser and everyone at the Philadelphia Parking Authority for having us here with this great announcement. SEPTA is proud to partner with the PPA on an AI camera bus lane enforcement initiative. At SEPTA, we are committed to providing our customers with safe and reliable service. And this gives those efforts a major boost. Illegally parked vehicles throw buses and trolleys off schedule, slow down service, and create unnecessary hazards to riders and pedestrians. We're eager to see the improvements that this program will deliver. The pilot program for this technology showed us that it can have an impact. In just over 70 days, more than 36,000 bus lane and bus stop parking violations were recorded. Now we're looking forward to seeing the numbers of incidents come down and the resulting service improvements it will have for our customers. This effort also builds on recent investments made by SEPTA and our partners to expand and upgrade our bus lane network across Center City. Bus lanes are effective and bus stops are reliable only when illegal parking is consistently enforced. We know our customers are going to see a difference. Currently, the average bus rider spends 31 additional hours riding due to Center City congestion. We look forward to giving our loyal customers some of that time back. And as always, time is money. That extra service time costs SEPTA more than $15 million a year. That would be much better spent on improvements. The problem of illegal parking in transit stops is one that has grown in recent years, and this is a great use of cutting-edge technology to tackle the problem. We think it will have widespread benefits for our riders, but in particularly, This is going to help those who rely on SEPTA for accessible travel. Illegal parking at transit stops creates particularly challenging conditions for riders with wheelchairs and other mobility devices, as well as strollers and grocery carts. And illegally parked cars require all riders to step into the roadway and squeeze between vehicles to board and alight SEPTA's buses and trolleys. Safety is SEPTA's most important core value, and this initiative directly supports that. On May 7th, the PPA and SEPTA will begin camera-assisted enforcement of bus lanes, bus stops, and running lanes in Center City and West Philadelphia. By the fall, we expect it to grow to 18 bus routes and all 5 trolley lines. Combined, these routes serve more than 170,000 daily riders, and we look forward to the improvements that they will see on their daily rides. Again, I want to thank the PPA, I want to thank the City of Philadelphia and the Mayor, I want to thank Councilman Squilla, everyone who played a role in making this a reality today. I want to thank everyone for working side by side with SEPTA on this new initiative. And now I'll turn it over to Chris Pahalski from the City of Philadelphia.
Thanks, Scott. Good morning. My name is Chris Pahalski. I'm the Director of Policy and Strategic Initiatives at the City of Philadelphia's Office of Transportation and Infrastructure Systems. I'm here with Mike Carroll, Deputy Director of that department. Fast and reliable transit is critical to the mayor's vision of the safest, cleanest, greenest city with economic opportunity for all. However, sometimes our transit system is not always able to provide the type and quality of service that a great city like Philadelphia deserves. Illegally parked vehicles, slow buses, and slow trolleys. And we do care about trolleys and buses being slowed. More importantly, we care about the Philadelphia residents that are on those buses and on those trolleys trying to get to jobs, trying to get to education and other training opportunities, trying to get to medical appointments and other errands, being able to take their trip fast and reliably. It's also critical to note that when a vehicle illegally parks, it makes it so that people in wheelchairs and other mobility devices cannot access the vehicle safely, putting them and others in danger. This system is going to address many of those issues in our most congested parts of the city. The system means more residents can get to work and other appointments on time, hence that economic opportunity that's so critical. We're really excited to work with the Parking Authority, with SEPTA, with Hayden AI, and with Councilmember Squilla to get this idea to get this concept from an idea to a working system. This is a prime example of the type of intergovernmental cooperation that Mayor Parker talks about, this cooperation between all these government agencies. So the City of Philadelphia is proud to support this initiative with the Parking Authority and SEPTA. Thanks.
Questions?
Yeah. Got questions?
Frankly, you warned about this a couple of times. Last year you did it. Why give folks until May
Right.
to do the right thing before you start to fine them? This is not new for you guys at all. Get in front of Mike.
Yeah. No, I think it's in my mind, it's good to have enough rollout time to let people know that it's out there. We do this with red light, with speed. We give several weeks warning periods, and we want to follow that same protocol. Since we do this for all other automated enforcement, we like to have conformity. So the same thing here. We're going to have the rollout, the warning period, and then May 7th it'll go live.
How much is the ticket?
So tickets will be, so what the tickets will be written for will be no stopping, no double parking, and no blocking the bus zones. They're $76 in Center City and $51 in neighborhoods outside of Center City.
How will you guys ensure that drivers aren't wrongfully ticketed? My understanding is that these kind of cameras already exist in other cities, so how will you guys make sure that, again, they're not charged $76 and they didn't do anything wrong?
Yeah.
Or,
No, definitely. So as you can see from the technology, when the camera captures a violator that may be in violation, an issue of violation, that data comes back to us at the authority. As you can see, there's staff in the back there, PEO staff. They will review all the violations that the camera captures to make sure that the plate's legible, that it is a violation. So there's plenty of checks there. And then once a real person deems that it's a violation, then the notification gets sent out to the driver.
So you guys have a team to...
And it's not a moving violation, it's a parking violation. So that's it's a parking violation. But when I said the camera catches it on the buses, it comes back to us. we have folks downstairs in a room that view all the technology, with all the technology that we have, and they'll issue the violation. And if a driver feels like they were still wrong, there is an appeal process that they can fly through with the city to appeal a violation, just like you will with any other parking violation.
Does your contractor do people with your contractor have a first look before it comes to you? Do they look, then you look?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. And
Correct.
so what is their initial look?
I want to bring up Torito to give
Sure.
kind of their.
Sure. My name's Charlie Torito. I'm with Hayden AI. As part of this program, not only will our systems identify events that meet the business rules that the PPA and SEPTA have given us for what is an event, but we'll have a team as well that will review those events and make sure that only the events that are captured that meet those business rules are eventually given to PPA for them to make the ultimate determination on whether or not a violation should be issued.
Now, business rules. What do you understand the business rules are?
So the business rules are stuff that we worked out with SEPTA, what violations will be given, how we decided, between no parking, double parking, what those rules are, the length of a bus lane, make sure the signage is proper on all the routes. So we've been working with SEPTA and Hayden AI to go out to all the routes that are going to be under this enforcement to make sure the signage is clear and is posted. So that's been anything that's missing. Our folks, our sign guys are putting up the signage to make sure it's proper. So it's all that to make sure what is a violation. So when the camera catches it, their folks go through it to make sure that it's a violation. Then they send it to our folks for another review, and then we make the determination on whether it's a violation or
Can I
not.
just ask you to simply say, what is the violation that you will be ticketing for? What is it that
So
drivers will do that you'll get
So if they're,
for?
as you can see, if they're idle in a bus lane, so no stopping, you're not allowed to stop in a bus lane. If you're double parking, that's a violation. So if you're double parking next to the bus lane, you can't, because you're also blocking traffic and the flow of traffic, and you can't block a bus zone. So for folks loading, getting on folks in wheelchairs, mothers, fathers with coaches, you can't block the bus lane. So that's a violation. So they're the three violations that will be issued: blocking a bus zone, blocking a bus lane, and double parking.
So my understanding too is that right now there's only 3 routes that, 152 buses, 3 routes right now, but you guys are trying to get 18 routes at what point?
So all the bus lanes that are currently in Center City, so that's Chestnut Street and Market Street currently, that's every bus that traverses those bus lanes from 23rd Street, am I right? 23rd all the way down to 6th Street. So every bus that runs through those routes. Also our trolley lines that traverse West Philadelphia, they'll all be included in this eventually as well. So we can provide the comprehensive list of routes that are included in this, but it's a comprehensive list.
Sure, but when are you guys trying to get to 18 routes? That's
By May 7th.
Scott, how would you expect this would increase the efficiency of bus routes? How much faster will your bus, or how much closer to on time will they run?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen as we've taken the steps to do certain things. Now, enforcement's always been it's been somewhat inconsistent because we have to devote a lot of resources to people to enforce. This will alleviate some of that for the parking authority, and what that does is it creates a more consistent now approach to enforcement. But that, as well as the dedicated lanes, we already have bus stops. They've been well established in the city for many years. They're not parking spaces. They're places for our buses to be able to pull out of traffic, to safely board our customers, and particularly customers with using mobility devices. Because we cannot deploy the ramp. When we do, we deploy the ramp in from the traffic lane. It creates for a much steeper incline for a person with a mobility device. And we also run the risk of traffic moving, trying to get around our vehicles and striking pedestrians or other motorists. So clearing the bus lanes, clearing the bus stops is of the utmost importance to us. And then the double parking that Rich spoke about is particularly prevalent on trolley lines. We can't get the trolleys through. They're on tracks. They can't go around anybody. So we need those trolley lanes unblocked in order to run more efficiently. We can't get our trolleys to run higher than about 70% on time. Most of that is due to traffic conditions.
With this technology, are there other violations that could be in the future? Like fire hydrant parking, I mean, it could detect.
I mean, we're definitely always continuing to look at how we can better use technology to use for enforcement, but right now these are the main ones. We want to make sure that, like, the goal is, again, to speed up routes so that folks can get to where they have to go. I mean, at the end of the day, it would be great to issue no violation, everybody just follows the rules, but we know that doesn't always happen. So the goal is to make sure transit routes are easily accessible and they move on time.
What's this technology, are you guys paying the bill for the technology? Who's paying the bill for?
So it's a contract with the authority, and then we pay for it, and it's a subscription base. So we lease the cameras from Hayden AI, and we pay a monthly fee per camera.
How much is that?
I'll get that exact figure before we break today.
So it's a contract with SEPTA?
It's our contract with Hayden AI. It's the Philadelphia Parking Authority's
With your
contract
authority.
because we're the enforcement agent.
And you think it's going to rent
But
it?
it's really a partnership because we got to make sure they fit the buses correctly, that SEPTA's business rules are taken into effect, all that. So it's really been a 3-agency work for the last year or so or more to get this passed and then make sure it works properly.
You projected what you'll produce in terms of, I know you don't see that as revenue or want to see it as revenue, but what you'll produce in terms of fines first initially and then when you're fully up?
I'll get that. I don't think so. 0, Jeff. We don't want anybody to get ticketed. We want everybody to listen.
We can see the video. We've all done stories. I mean,
That's why we do the warning period. Now, I'll find out. I don't think we've actually ran. I mean, we could look at what we've done through our PEOs on enforcement to look at that number, but we haven't really ran kind of a cost piece on that.
Sir, can you talk about the technology? Where are the cameras mounted, and how does it work? How do the cameras work?
Sure. Hayden AI uses a patented vision-based AI technology. We have 2 cameras that are mounted inside the bus, behind the windshield. Those cameras are positioned so that they capture both the entire field of view that can be used to validate a violation, and then the license plate of the vehicle in question as well. The system is built with what we call privacy by design, so we ensure that only events are captured that meet the rules of the agency. A significant amount of the processing that occurs is done actually on the bus itself. And then once we've validated that an event meets the requirements of the agency, that event is sent to a cloud where it can be reviewed by teams both from Hayden AI and from the PPA to make a decision on whether or not ultimately a violation should be issued. Our process is very unique. We're going to build a map of the city of Philadelphia and of the routes that we're enforcing. And we're going to annotate that map with the bus lanes and the bus zones. And then we're going to apply certain algorithms to that map that allow us to very clearly identify the vehicles that are parked illegally and obstructing those bus lanes and bus zones. This is a system that's been deployed not only here in Philadelphia during a pilot that we did back in 2023, but the system's deployed in Washington, D.C., in New York City, in Los Angeles, soon to be in Chicago, and several other cities in the United States and even internationally as well. And so we're very confident that our system is going to do the things that the agency and PPA are looking for it to do. Ultimately, that's to make buses move faster. It's to enhance safety and reduce collisions from buses having to traverse in and out of lanes. And then, most importantly, it's going to increase ridership. It's going to, as SEPTA said, encourage more people to ride the bus. And that's what the system's designed to do.
Charlie, is the video stored anywhere? And if, for example, Philadelphia Police Department wanted it for investigative purposes for some reason, is that stored somewhere and available?
And there are limitations on the video that we capture. Really, the only video that would be stored is video that supports a violation. And so, again, that's a privacy by design type way that we capture events. So we don't have a catalog of every video that's been captured like red light cameras or speed cameras do. So there is a limitation on the amount of video that could be accessed. in the event that it was needed for some other purpose besides enforcement.
So could it record other crimes or anything like that down the line?
I mean,
Yeah, that,
Talk about
Yeah.
SEPTA. So keep in mind, this is not a replacement for the cameras that SEPTA currently uses on the vehicles. So any incident that occurs on or around the vehicle is going to get captured by our forward-facing camera. So it doesn't, it's not, their camera is in addition to what we already have. So if Philadelphia Police or someone else has a need to see video from something that happened around the bus, SEPTA more often than not would be able to provide that video.
But Rich, would you make this video available to law enforcement? If they wanted it, even if it's just focusing
So
on
we,
violators?
due to red light and speed and that question coming up, we have a process now that we take. If police want the footage for some criminal investigation, we have to subpoena for that footage. So we just don't give it out. Somebody can't just call up and say, "Oh, I need this. Do you have any?" There's a specific process that we follow, like PennDOT does, with work cameras and things like that.
How quick is the technology? Like, how soon would a person get a ticket in the mail? Like, how?
I'll get you. Corinne, do you want to answer that?
So once it's.
You want to come up? You might as probably easier if I come up here. Put you on the.
Come on,
We'll
Corinne.
put you on the spot.
Good morning. So once the Hayden AI reviews it and then it goes to the Philadelphia Parking Authority, we review it. Then it has to go out for registered owner and then go through the mail. So we're talking probably like 3 to 10 days. But in addition to the system being on the cameras, we're still going to have parking enforcement officers and other officers that issue tickets walking and driving and still enforcing those bus lanes and bus zones and double parking. So you'll have like a double enforcement going out there, and then if a ticket ends up on a windshield and it's going through the process of being captured by the camera, that camera system that ticket will be voided, so someone's not getting a double ticket for the same type of violation.
Corinne, if you could say your name and your title.
Corinne O'Connor, Deputy Executive Director.
Okay, one more question for Scott. On a different topic, where are you with the legislature and the funding that you very much need? What are they telling you about whether you're going to get anything close to what you need at the end of this session?
So we continue to talk with our legislators. We continue to talk with the governor's office. We'll have an announcement this week about our fiscal 26 budget. But the best I can give you now is that we're still talking. Everybody's still talking. So we're still hopeful that something will get done for this budget cycle.
And the number was what, 160, 160?
Well, the number that's proposed by the governor amounts to about 168 million for SEPTA. Our budget deficit currently stands at about 213 million starting next year.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Does he want us?
Yeah, I was ready for that. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to want Channel 6 was late, so.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, thank you.
Thanks, Rich, again. Appreciate your leadership.
Great job on the fly there.
Sorry about all the tidbits.
I don't know if you want to hang for a minute, Chris, Channel 6.
Okay.
Does he want to?
He just wants to interview you two, if we
Okay.
can, so just let everybody clear up and then we'll just answer some.
We should have Chris with us.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah.
Why don't you go over there and I'll shoot from
where I'm at.